play. Gunzpick's taking me higher. Cup of coffee, parlay, my desire. Cash and tickets, feeling fine. Hit the like button every time. Support the show, we got your back. Only winners, no lack. College football on the rise. Daily bets, big surprise. Spread the wealth, don't be...
Yes, sir. We are back, baby. We are back here on the GunzPicks channel. I am GunzPicks, and of course, it is Saturday mornings with GunzPicks. As you're drinking your coffee, you're having your bacon, egg, and cheese. You can digest some college football picks in the process. It's going to be an electric show. We have some very special guests periodically on this channel. So if you don't know the format, if you're new to the format, this is going to be an interactive chat. So it's up to the chat for us to decide what we talk about. So you guys are the drivers. You got to talk about the plays. Like, hey, Guns, what do you think about the over in UVA and whoever they're playing? I want to know what you guys are going to be on today, what you guys are cooking. And hell, let's talk about lifestyle. Are we drinking today? Are we cooking a little bit of smoked barbecue? Are we putting ribs on? That's what I want to know from the chat. This is what this show is about. We talk to you guys and we give our opinions. And I have some very special guests in the process, but I want to talk to everybody to make sure that you understand. You need to follow at GunzPicks channel, like and subscribe right now. And also, this is the final day of my 50% off my annual package on college football plays. I put 10 plays out today. So we're 2-0, actually 10 plays overall in week 1. We're already 2-0 if you're a subscriber of Dub Club. We are going to continue to cook all the way through college football season. I am very excited that we have the opportunity to dominate not only on this channel, but all the other shows that we're doing here on the GunzPicks channel. So I appreciate all the follows. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the engagement. I was like, get in the comments. That's what I want on this channel. And support the guys that I have on here as well. And I'll promote them properly once they come on. But we need to get this thing started. I know everybody's waiting. Everybody in the damn building wants to know, hey, Guns, do we have a parlay? Of course we do. But we only have one type of parlay, and that is the cup of coffee parlay. Let's go. That's right. The cup of coffee parlay is sponsored by nobody, but we do have an electric one. And when I preface this parlay, we're not betting our bankroll on this one. A cup of coffee parlay is the value of this one. It's $5 to $10. It depends on when you're buying your coffee. Are you buying it at Pete's Coffee or are you buying it at Dunk's? That is the value of this one. So let's pop it up here for the boys. We have UGA money line, West Virginia money line, Virginia Tech money line, Cuse money line, Indiana money line, Nebraska money line, Florida money line, North Texas money line, UNLV money line, and Arizona money line, and that is plus 7,720. You can get that on FanDuel, but you can go find your books and have similar values. So we're going to start this off with a 10-teamer? That is what we're going to be doing here on the GunzPicks channel. It is a great time to go. So I'm going to start here, and I want to talk about some of these picks that we have today. Let's go and talk about one of the players, and I've posted this everywhere, so I may be on repeat, but I want to talk about this New Mexico and the Arizona game. Arizona Stadium, Tucson, 10:30 p.m. East, late night degenerate special action. And you know I profit off these. Arizona coming into the season, 84th in experience, 15 returning starters. A lot of that has to do with their production on the offensive side of the ball. Running backs and wide receiver core is gone. However, we still have the starting quarterback, the most electric guy on the planet, Noah Fafita. is going to be back here. McMillan is coming back, 1,400 receiving yards, getting the touches from Noah. 4 out of their 5 guys on the offensive line are back as well. So Jed Fish does jump ship and go to Washington, but they got Brent Brennan that is coming in to replace him. And if you've seen his record at San Jose State, he's the best turd polisher on the planet. He brought the San Jose State team from obscurity into bowl eligibility, back-to-back bowl seasons, and also a Mountain West championship in 2020. You look at New Mexico on the other side of the ball. They just came off their first game versus Montana State, FCS opponent, lost the game 35-31, 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter from Montana State. This team is the 89th most experienced team in the country, and I knew the defense was going to be dropped off here with New Mexico, and it showed. I said they can't stop the run. You look at the run on this one, they gave up 5.3 yards per carry to their opponents last season. That was 125th in the country, and they are going to regress even worse. You look at the lineup here against Montana State. Montana put up 362 yards rushing against them last week at 7.7 yards per carry. So they're going against an Arizona's team that is a step up in class. So you worry about losing a lot of wide receivers. You worry about losing a lot of running backs for Arizona, but the core is going to be fine because guess what? They're going to have to face their former teammate from New Mexico, running back Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt. If you don't know his statistics, he put up 1,100 and he put up over 1,100 rushing yards last season with 6.3 yards per carry. So getting him in the backfield is going to be absolutely electric and a little bit of a chip on his shoulder going into this game. You look at Arizona, 7-3 ATS versus non-conference opponents in the last 3 seasons. You look at New Mexico on the other side, 14-23-1 ATS since 2014 versus non-conference opponents. 4-15-1 ATS as double-digit dogs. So what I like to do is I like taking heavy favorites in week 1 is because it's like a weighted coin. You're hitting about 63% when you're taking heavy favorites above 24, 25 points. And you have a situation here with Arizona going against a team that is playing off a game where they played in week 0. You always fade those teams. You never just tail them in the next week. I think that's more public specific, but I think a lot of people think this Arizona team has some drop off, and I agree overall. But in this game, I don't think it's going to happen. Give me Arizona here, minus 30.5. And I know I got the worst of the line because you can get 29s out there. But I still like to play. I think Arizona wins by 40. 1.5 unit special there. Arizona, minus 30.5. Let's go to the chat and talk to the boys. Going in. Look at this. Perky Sanderson in the building says, morning guns. I like Penn State to cover, but I bought a few points. I also like UGA buying the points. Okay, I can't disagree with you on UGA. We'll talk about that game in a second. And T likes Penn State. And of course, my guy from Shark and the Gun, college football, knowledge for college, joins the building. Let's go. Hit the horn for my guy, Sharky Water Nation. Tailed and UMass big plays, Clemson and UNLV teaser. I can't disagree with you on that. Of course, College Station tonight is going down, and I'm wearing Notre Dame stuff, and I'm going to throw up when that game starts. I gotta admit, as a capper, my gut says this is probably a TCU play, and it should be when you have a lower ranked opponent versus a higher ranked opponent, and they are favored by 3.5. I don't even know where the line is right now, but that kind of makes me nervous. But on the other side of the spectrum, when you look at Freeman is 4-1 ATS as a dog, but he is not the contrarian play in this position. He is a public dog, and public dogs technically have fleas. Let me talk about another play here. I'm just waiting for my guest to get back in their chair. Let's talk about a little bit of Wyoming versus Arizona here. Mountain America Stadium, Tempe, Arizona, another late night degenerate special. I know I'm hitting a lot of late night stuff, but I like these plays because the left coast is the best coast as far as cashing some tickets. But when you got Wyoming here, 70th in experience this season, 41.8% of their offense does come back. But 73% of their defensive production comes back, 13 returning starters overall. They're losing their starting quarterback, but they have a good replacement. This Skibota guy, a lot of hype around him as far as his production, and he's played in a couple games already, so he has some experience. He played in the bowl game at Arizona. I think it was a Barstool Arizona Bowl, and they won that game in Bowl's retirement game. And he also played well versus Texas. And Texas, of course, was a college football playoff team last year. When you look at Wyoming, though, they got their top wide receiver backs, 4 out of their 5 starters from the offensive line. And they're going to start to open up the offense a little bit. I'm interested in seeing if that works out or not, because Wyoming has always been this very conservative offensive team, and they just kind of relied on their defense. When you look at Wyoming on the defensive side, though, 6 out of their 7 top tacklers are back on defense, so they should be improved there. Then we got Arizona State on the other side, 54.1% of their offensive production, 55.7% of their defensive production does return, 10 returning starters for them. And then you have the top running back coming back, but they have a new starting quarterback, so we'll have to see if that works out. New wide receiver corps and a new offensive line. So a lot of time they need to gel. And I'm a little bit hesitant to back this Arizona team as a favorite in a position where I think that this team is just still new and haven't had any game experience with one another. On the defensive side, weak defensive line. They lost a lot from the 2023 team. They had a lot of P4s to it, so there's a lot of voids there for the Arizona State team. And you got Wyoming that's performed well as a road dog, 4-4 straight up, but they're 6-2 ATS versus non-conference opponents on the road. And then you look at Arizona State, 1-9 ATS versus non-conference opponents last 3 seasons, 0-5 ATS at home. And then you have a Arizona State that just underperforms as a favorite, but I think this is a backable team in the future. I'm not trying to hate on the Arizona State team. I'm just saying that we have to pick them in positions as a favorite at home, game 1, with a bunch of transfers to kind of fill in voids versus a Wyoming team that kind of knows each other and is a team effort. We've seen this already on Thursday and Friday. We're going to see it again here. So I'm going to be backing the Wyoming Cowboys +7 2-unit special. All right. I'm still waiting on C-Mac in the waiting room. He said he will be in a second, but I want to make sure that I recognize the people. And here's what we got to do here, folks. This is for the chat. I see 119 of you beautiful bastards watching me right now. Get into the chat, ask your questions. Let's talk some ball. This is week 1 college football. This is what we do. I am ready to talk about any game that you have on the planet, whether it's side, it's total, anything. Ask me my opinion on any play that you are considering. If I have a lean, I'll give it to you. If I have an opinion, I'll give it to you as well, until my established guests come into the chat. But this is for the people. You guys have to get into the chat and talk to me and let me know what you guys are looking at on this beautiful Saturday. All right, take a breath as we look at the board here. Listen, I'll promote this. Dub Club on the you can get the link in my bio. This is the last day that you can absolutely take advantage of the annual package. And I'm giving 50% off if you join now. You get all my plays, not only college football, NFL, MLB, see college basketball when that starts. It is an entire year of GunzPicks plays, and you can grab them today for 50% off. This is the last day you can do that. Sign up. I've already put out 10 plays, and there's 8 plays left. I'm already 2-0 on week 1. I cashed a bunch of tickets on week 0. I will continue to cash in college football. So you buy this package. MLB, I was 6-3. I'm on a heater. I'm over 65% in baseball in August. So there's so many sports that I'm making the money back to you. I'm not asking for a lot of money. Go join now on Dub Club. The link I've already posted on my Twitter page or X or whatever you call it now. So go check that out. And now my established guest is in the waiting room. I want to make sure I give him the proper welcome. You've seen this guy all over the place on YouTube. You saw him on Pub Sports back in the day, but guess what? This guy is him and a guy that I appreciate too in Bobano are starting their own channel. It's called Hitting the Books. It's on YouTube. You got to go check it out. These guys break down college football better than anybody on the planet, and they don't skip games. They do every single game. I want to bring him up. My guy, D-Mac in the building. Hit the horn.
Guns. Pew, 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 pew. My guy. I mean, how pumped are you, man? College football is back. It's I'm pumped, man. How are you?
It's really hard to express the excitement that I have. All I can say is you're that 5-year-old on Christmas Day and you see all the presents that Santa gave you. This is like our new Christmas, right? College football is our new Christmas. And we had a little bit of an appetizer in week 0. Now we get the full course. Is like we've had the calamari. Now we're going to get the steak and we're going to get the sides, a little bit of mashed potatoes to go dip in. It's going to be an electric day. I can't wait to indulge in college football. But we're here to talk about the breakdown. Like I said, you can go check out Connor Mack and Bobano. They got a new channel called Hitting the Books on YouTube. Please go subscribe, hit the like, and join their channel. Listen, the best breakdown of college football from game to game on the planet. So go check them out. But the first game we're going to be talking about here is the premier game. It starts at noon. We got Clemson versus Georgia, 12 p.m. East. This is going to be played in Atlanta under the dome in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And this is going to be the premier game of the day. What are your thoughts on Clemson versus Georgia, C-Mac?
Yeah, this line's come down here. There's even a few 10.5s in this one, and basically there are a few suspensions. ETN's out for Georgia. It's made this line come down. With him out, though, but all the money all week long has been on Georgia. This didn't really move. This just was stayed. That kind of got there. Never got really to 2 touchdowns. If it did, it just was there for a second and has came back. This is on a neutral field. One thing, Dabo, if he's been a dog on neutral field or whether it's a bowl game, he's been excellent. So I looked at that. So I lean to Clemson. I just don't trust their offense here. Because like last year, they didn't get past 20 points with 3 or 4 times, especially in big games. Can that offense do something? I haven't been impressed whether it's at the QB or some of their wide receivers. I know they have, some good studs there, but constantly I don't think they get separation. They had a ton of drop passes in that one. But this is the key. I took the under. Let's get to the play. Yeah, I took the under 49. I just, when you have 2 top 10 defenses, Clemson's lost a little bit more, but I still think they're strong enough in this one. And Georgia, to me, has the better offense. But we have game 1. This is always the classic. I'm a little bit more to the unders in game 1s that hit guns than other weeks. It's just been a fact, especially with higher totals. Last night I was an over. I took it, went down to 59. Some of these I think get down a little bit too low. Now it barely got over in that Stanford game. But there's a few of these. Maybe we'll get to one later on that I think have gone a little bit too low, where just the offenses will be there. But I think the defenses will come to play. I know this is in the dome, and I've talked to a few other people that I respect think there's going to be more points in this game. But I don't buy it. I think defenses prevail, so I'm on the under in this one.
Yeah. I just want to clarify for Dave Campbell, who's wondering, is there a code or is it a price? If you go into one of my posts, I do have a promo. You just click that link. It takes you directly to the annual package, and you can just get in there. And by the way, Connor Mack also has a Dub Club too. You can go check him out. He has great pricing, and obviously this dude is an elite handicapper. One of my guys.
Hey, real quick, it's I'm new to it. I do. So either one, Dub Club or just message me, because that's where most of my people still are. Okay. So or DM me. But I do have a Dub Club.
Yeah. So if you want to follow both, that's great. It's like, I just want to make sure that you understand that you're basically watching this show with 2 elite handicappers in I would consider college football my best sport. I don't know about Connor Mack, but
Yeah,
let's go
for
into the next play. Actually, I want to talk about this play a little bit. So I agree with Connor. I think this is going to be a defensive type of battle because you're dealing with a lot of changes on the offensive side, and it's just a big game in week one. When you look at the Clemson side, though, 35th in experience, 77% of their offensive production, 53.4% of the defensive production. And if you've heard Dabo in multiple interviews and everything like that, he's not into doing a lot of transfer portal guys. He wants to develop it like within. And I agree with that sentiment. But I think in some situations, from a job standpoint, you need to fill in voids and utilize the transfer portal to do that. Then you got 9 starters back on the offensive side. Top quarterback, of course, Clay Klubnik is coming back, and Maffa is coming back on the running back side. 4 out of their 5 starters on the O-line. Will Shipley was a big part of that offense last year, and I think people are not talking about that enough. I know Phil Maffa is really good, but I think losing Will Shipley will kind of hurt that running back depth. Last season on the defensive side, that was their strength. They had 288. They gave up 288 yards of production to their the offenses to their opponents, 52.9% pass completion rate. But with the defense on this one, they lose 3 out of their 5 top tacklers. Their entire defensive line is gone, so that is completely new people on that one. So there's a fresh defense versus a veteran offensive line though with UGA. They're the number 1 ranked offensive line in the country before week 1. There is so much talent on this UGA team. And then UGA, the one crutch on this one, they do lose some running back depth, and Connor alluded to no ATN to start this game. He is going to be out because of violations that happened before the season. They also lose their number 2 guy. I mean, he had toe surgery. This guy was an up and down back, kind of their like goal line guy, just to go pound the ball in. But I'm not too worried about that with Georgia because Georgia has guys in the waiting. They always get 4 to 5 stars in that position. But you also look at Clemson, 3-7 ATS last 2 seasons versus non-conference opponents, 0-5 ATS since in 2022 alone. But like Connor said, there's always trends that hit the other way. I think Dabo is 19-11 ATS as a dog, and this is probably the heaviest dog that Clemson's ever been. But like in my position, I look at this as this is similar spot that UGA was in a couple of years ago versus Oregon. They were going against Dan Lanning. They were going against Bo Nix, and UGA just put the whipping on it. And people's reaction was Bo Nix stinks, but we found out that he doesn't. It just happens to be that UGA is good. I think UGA is going to win this one. I don't care what spread you're going to get. And maybe I'm a public noob and I'm not hitting the sharp angle, but I just think Georgia has a chip on their shoulder this year for getting ousted out of this college football playoff. They're gonna get their comeuppance in this one game, and it's a ranked opponent. It is a premier game. They're not going to let their foot off the gas pedal. I know Kirby's smart. He's going to have these guys ready. I only want to take UGA. I will not take Clemson. Okay. But it's not an play for me.
I just think, Georgia's going to smother them, really. And that keeps it low scoring. You look at Clemson's team total under. You mentioned Oregon. There was their first game before Oregon, too. A couple years before that, they just blew a big team. I forget who it was. Yeah, it was somebody. It just smoked them, too. Yeah, it just smothered them. They beat Clemson, 3 years ago, 10-3. So I just think the low-scoring game, both defenses are good enough, even though I think the Georgia offense is a little bit better, obviously, on that side. But I think Clemson can hang a little bit where it's not going to go crazy, where they score 40 or something like that,
Right. We're going to the next game here, and this is another premier game, probably underrated in my opinion. Penn State's going against West Virginia. This is a rematch of last year in probably the worst backdoor cover for a lot of bettors on this one. They're going to be playing at Morgantown, West Virginia, where they burn the couches, and it smells like fucking plastic in that town today. But it's going to be a big game. Penn State, West Virginia. What are your thoughts on this game? 12 p.m. East.
I worry about this game a little bit here, Guns. It's just this is the public kind of dog. Just everyone's on it here. Like everyone knows this is where you want West Virginia. I mean, it's not a night game. We got an early morning, But I love what they bring back at West Virginia. From Green, the running backs, the receivers. I think it's very, very good. Penn State's loaded as well. And obviously they were one of the best defenses all year long last year. But this will be a tough ask. For some reason, Penn State to me is just better. Because normally for a bet this week, Guns, they said it's week 1, I'm automatically taking West Virginia. It is. It's just like they're at home. If this was week 6, I'm all over it. Something to make me just pump the brakes just a little. Even though to me it's West Virginia or nothing. That's it for me. I'm a little bit leery because I love them at home. I couldn't get there in the end. Do you have something here?
I have an opinion on it. I'll say this.
That's all I have.
And the actual play that I gave out is my top play of the day is coming off this game. It's on Dog Club. Go check that out. So looking at this, I can see both sides. All right. Penn State on the road with against an unranked opponent is typically the wheelhouse of where Penn State
and cash like crazy. Real quick,
right.
They've been unbelievable as favorites, even on the road. If it's not Ohio State and Michigan, cover machine. Yeah, keep going. Sorry, I was just thinking about that.
No. I like the interaction here, but you're making a good point. So it's a matter of trusting the backfield for Penn State, right? So you have the running backs back, you have Drew Aller back, but the O line is going to be depleted. Like 3 of those guys jumped and went to the NFL draft. Some really good talent on that one. While Penn State kind of produces offensive line people, so there may be next man up mentality. I just think there's time to gel with that team. Defensive side of the ball, they do lose DC Manny Diaz. He goes jump ship, be the head coach for Duke. So there is a little bit of turnover on the defensive side, and kind of early on in the season, Penn State defense has always been the strength, right? So on the West Virginia side, you have the starting quarterback back, 4 out of their 5 top receivers. Top 3 rushers are back as well, 5.3 yards per carry in the run game last season. And their offensive line only gave up 10 sacks all year with a 3% sack rate. So their offensive line is kind of beefed up and ready to handle this. And my projections, and I was looking at this one, they could be one of the top offenses in the country just in the Big 12. So there are there's a lot of hype around this offense there with West Virginia. And you got to remember, there is a little bit of a receipt game with Penn State, right? So Penn State beat them 38-15 last year as 20.5-point favorites. And if you remember that game as a better, and I alluded to it earlier, like West Virginia had the cover, but there was like maybe 3 or 4 times where they lost possession on downs in Penn State territory, and they ended up getting like 10 to 14 points in that situation, which is kind of like an outlier. But you look at like that backdoor cover that they had, they could have downed the ball and ended the game. And then he decided to run the football, and they ran it into the end zone to get the cover. Backdoor style. James Franklin just doing his dirtiest to West Virginia. And I love Neil Brown. I think if I had to pick a coach between Franklin and Neil Brown, I'd rather have Brown for the sheer fact that, like, if the lights are brightest, I can trust Brown. I can't trust Franklin. In this game, I don't know if the lights are that bright here for Penn State. I lean towards the direction that you are with West Virginia. However, I think the line is kind of past. We're looking at 7s and 7.5, so it's getting to a possession. We're losing the value. I think at 8.5, 9, when it originally was at a couple days ago, was a perfect line. You're not getting it now. So maybe look for live spots to see if you can get some value on West Virginia. That'd be my recommendation. If Penn State scores a touchdown early, that would probably be a good time to jump it. But I think if you're buying it now, you're getting the worst element of the line. So I like that. It's a pass at this point. All right, next game on the board here. Let's skip around and talk about this one. Miami, Florida, the battle in Florida. And we get to dive into the swamp. This matchup was electric a couple of years ago, but they bring the rivalry back. Miami is ranked. Florida is not. Florida has the toughest schedule on the board as far as strength of schedule is concerned, but a lot of hype around this Hurricane team, especially with all the transfers that came in. Do you have any thoughts on this game, C-Mac?
You know what I do? This is a classic game, all right, where I get a lot of people like Miami, and maybe they have a little bit more talent. I'm a massive Cam Ward fan. I think he'll come in and do well. I don't like really both of these coaches, and I think they're a little bit on the hot seat. The Seals getting a win here is big right off the bat. It's not a crazy travel spot, but anytime you play in the Swamp, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Even for Miami, just going up the road, they'll have plenty of fans, I'm sure, there. But I couldn't back Miami in this game. Not at all. Florida, to me, I think they're going to win 5 games. 6 would be great. Napier, he's on the hot seat as well in this one. But I think Graham Mertz, if he just takes care of the ball here, doesn't make any mistakes. We'll get to that. It's huge in college football, turnovers with them, because I don't think they have the best defense, does Florida. But being at home here, I think they keep them in this game. I talked about it. This was another one. Miami's got one of the best kickers, and Florida has like the best punter in the country when I was going through this earlier in the week. So that could be big in a game like this. And now there's 3s out there. So where I think Florida could win this game, there's plus 3s. I think they can hang on. Like if Miami went in there and won, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise. But I think this game's tight. So I'd want the home team with the points here in the Swamp where they've been. This is where they play their best football,
I agree with you on this one. So I always like to fade hype, and I think with this Miami team,
hype. It's always hype though. Like it seems like though for years now. Sometimes they start 4-0, 5-0, and then once they get to their schedule. So,
but I feel like
hype.
public falls into the same trap with Miami, and they have this nostalgia of how good they were in 2000, 2001. I don't know what it is, but I always tell people, I'm like, just don't fall into the Miami trap ever, okay? And then we have this Miami team with 82nd in experience, 43.1% of their offensive production is back, 41.6% of their defensive production. But like we said before, a lot of the production is probably in better shape with Cam Ward there. And you also have Damian Martinez being the running back for them, coming from Oregon State, absolutely electric in this one. But I don't know if his production was more so to the fact that the Oregon State offensive line was top 5 in the country versus a Miami offensive line that I really don't know how good they are. You look at Miami's offense, top 2 wide receivers back as well. Only 3 guys off the offensive line. They do replace the voids on the quarterback and running back positions, like I said before. 7 returning starters on the defensive side. Only 1 of their top tacklers are back, so there may be a little bit of drop-off on the defensive side there for Miami. Miami's 52nd in experience coming back. 14 returning starters on the offensive side. Top running back does come back. And by the way, I understand that ATN has left that team, but he was the number 2 back for him. Okay, it wasn't the number 1 guy. So maybe he kind of sniffed that like he was going to lose a lot of his touches and went to Georgia to kind of build himself before he gets into the NFL draft. So he's back. Starting quarterback is back. 4 out of their 5 top receivers, 3 out of their 5 offensive line. And they're built on a couple good transfers too on the offensive line. So offensively, I think they're built a lot better than they were last season, but they have one of the toughest schedules in the country. 6 starters back on the defensive side. Top 2 tacklers are back. But look at Florida, 7-2 ATS as a dog with 3 points or less. You look at the other side with Miami, 0-5 ATS is a favorite of 3 points or less. 1-10 ATS is a single-digit favorite. 0-5 under Cristobal. So there's a lot of stats that are saying take Florida, and I can't disagree with them on this one. I think a lot of people are hyped up about Miami. It's an overinflated hype. But the line is very short for a ranked opponent, and they're playing a Florida team that is projected to get 4 to 5 wins this season. So to me, I think it's the Florida or pass. I wouldn't go any other direction than that. So
they're going to hit another stack. This would be a huge win for Miami because I think they start 4-0, maybe even 5-0. Because I know they play Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, and then Virginia Tech. And I don't know if that's at Virginia Tech. I'd have to double check because I was looking at it earlier. But this would be big, and then they have a stretch of 3 or 4 easy wins before they hit the middle of the schedule where it could get wild. But
yeah, the path is set for them regardless of this game. This is kind of a one-off, but like it's not like I'm not thinking that Miami is not going to be successful this season. Their schedule kind of predicates that they're going to be successful, especially their win total. I think is like 9.5. So, but in this game, this is not the easiest game in the world, believe me. All right, so I'm wearing the hat, I'm wearing the jersey. We got to talk about this game. I'm very sad. I'm going to throw up around 7:30 tonight. we got Texas A&M, number 20 in the country. They're going against the number 7 team that I'm wearing the hat. I would say this number 7 ranking is probably overinflated, which kind of makes me sick. Notre Dame. They are the underdog going to College Station. And yeah, as a fan, I'm not going to be betting it personally. I do have an opinion on the game, but I'll pass it to Connor first. What are your thoughts on Notre Dame versus A&M?
This game should be great. This is another one where I look at where I can't take the side, even though I think Notre Dame. It's week 1 where it could be, but this is a public dog. Rain public dog alert. Everyone sees Notre Dame. But one thing could keep them in this game, and that's just the defense is dominant. Guns, this. This is one of the better Notre Dame. Last year they were very good, and they bring back a ton. Cross, Kaiser, they got a great secondary, safety. I mean, they're just really, really good, Notre Dame. So, and obviously Riley, a quarterback, once he's, if he's healthy, he's excellent. Texas A&M has those great D linemen, those few guys there that, the Purdue transfer. What's the other guy? Turner, I believe, or Tiger. Anyways,
yeah,
he's excellent.
Yeah, I think you got it right.
Yeah. So they're going to be good at home. You don't walk in there and just kick Texas A&M's ass. So I think it's a dogfight. I had to have this under. I just don't see this going high scoring here. Both offenses are a little bit behind. I like Wegman. Texas A&M. They lose a few games this year. I think they probably lose 3, but I think he's going to be solid. And I don't know if this defense, is it really this good? I mean, these guys, there's some on paper, but they got gashed a lot last year, in SEC. Some of these bigger games, I saw them when we watched the live one. We did probably 3 or 4 of them. So will that secondary here be good for A&M? I don't know. But Notre Dame, this is a classic where they want to – they're not going to light it up. Like this to me is just in the trenches, 16-13, I don't know, 2017. So under nothing here. I know it's kind of the play here most people are on, but that's the only way it goes.
Yeah, I saw that too. It seems like God knows.
Under and Notre Dame. That's the bets here. Yes.
I don't disagree with that take because the line was sitting at 46. I don't know if it's dropped or not, if it's gone up based on the public opinion as far as ticket sales go on this one. But
47 and a half. So
47. Okay, so it's gone up. Yeah, so I remember seeing 46 and a half like earlier in the week. This was like I what I'm alluding to is like I never had a play on this game because I don't know if my heart or my head is talking to me. So with Notre Dame, Connor said it best. It's like these two teams are defensive oriented. Mike Elko comes from the defensive coordinator side. Mm-hmm. He polished the biggest turd on the planet with the Duke Blue Devils, and I don't know if it's a polish because Cutcliffe was very good when he was a coach there. But like I think they got the right coach. They got a passionate coach. He's going against his former team. He was a defensive coordinator under Brian Kelly years back, and kind of like implemented and molded that defense to actually be more defensive oriented than offensive oriented. And then Freeman took over after that the defensive coordinating abilities and kind of made it a defensive oriented school. And like Connor said, both defenses are going to be good. Notre Dame's defense overall is going to be good. And it's like they lost a lot from the defensive front to the draft, but they went to Duke and got this guy Odin, who was their best pass rusher last year on the end. He's going to have an electric year, and they have these guys that are ready to step up as far as the linebackers are concerned. The defensive front should be great. The secondary is elite. There's one of the top secondaries in the country. Xavier Watt won the award for the best corner in the country or safety in the country. He had like 9 picks last year. He's going to be stepping up. He came back. He didn't have to. He could have went to the draft and been a high draft pick. He came back to this school for his last season to help this defense, and their corners are absolutely electric.
Morrison's great. Yeah.
Freeman, for what it's worth, he's one of the best recruiters in the country, and it continues to show in every class that he brings. From the offensive perspective, a lot of question marks. The line, the offensive line, 3 guys are left, but it is offensive line when it comes to Notre Dame. Notre Dame has one of the biggest, if nobody knows, they have one of the biggest offensive line camps in the country, and they get a lot of those guys to come to that school based on that camp. So they get a little bit of an advantage when that comes. That's why you see a lot of these Notre Dame guys in the NFL on starting lines. is because they produced the talent there. They had a left tackle to go take Joe Alt's position that was ready to go, and that guy got hurt during the preseason. So they go to the next man. I have no idea how good he's going to be. And the running backs are going to be great. Jajarian Price and Jeremiah Love. That 1-2 punch is going to fill in what Audric Estime left. The quarterback is a little bit questionable on this one. I know everybody loves Riley Leonard, but he's on his second ankle surgery. I don't know if that's going to hold up or not. And the wide receiver corps is as best as it's ever been. However, they're playing at College Station in a volatile crowd week 1. This is a team at night. This is a team that hasn't had time to gel. I called this the bookend season for Notre Dame. I say you lose your first game and you lose your last game, which is USC at the end of the season. They're going to be 10-2 in my opinion, and they're going to make the playoffs, and who knows what the matchup is going to be on that one. I am not taking this because I do think Texas A&M is going to win this game. The total, I think, like Connor said, is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be very much punch and re-punch from both sides. So, yeah, it's going to be electric. And then we have another guest on the GunzPicks Saturday mornings. I appreciate everybody joining. Like and subscribe to the channel. But we have a guy here. He is the CEO of Sports Money. He is just putting out content left and right. He's going to have a live stream tonight for the game we just talked about, Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Yep. It is my guy, Pimp Slap, Mikey M in the building. What's going on, buddy? Welcome to the show.
Michael.
You boys getting after it early. I love it. I appreciate it. Respect it. You don't drink enough. You don't drink enough. You're up, crack of dawn, ready to roll. But I do, fortunately, drink enough for all three of us. And it's college football day number 1, boys. Let's go. Week 1. I'm ready to fucking go.
I knew Mike. I was like, oh, Mike fucking turned up last night. He ain't going to be ready, but he is ready. He is awake, and he joined the show, so I appreciate it, my man. We went down the board. I'll give it to you real quick. What plays are you on this beautiful
Saturday?
Came
off a big 8-1 night last night in college football. Fucking rolled it up and smoked the shit out of it. I'm going to tell you this, boys. I'm going to tell you this. Why you fading Penn State? Don't do it. Stop doing it. I don't know if you guys are doing it, but don't do it.
We are doing it.
No. Man. Listen, James Franklin, 35-0 when he's a coach is a non-conference favorite of more than 6 points. This line's come down to 7. 7, boys. A fucking 7. I'm on Penn State. I'll see you boys.
What a homer.
Over by the trash can while you're throwing out your tickets. I'll be over there making sure to stay. I'll save you a spot. We'll get a 9. We'll get some winners together, though. Let's go see if we can't figure it out. A couple other spots I want to get involved with here. Early game. Kind of a weird situation. Looking at this Clemson and Georgia game here. Not a big one for these big games, but again, kind of got reverse line movement, right? Minus 13.5 now down to 11, 72% of the bet, 76% of the cash on Georgia. That's where my money is. Double-digit favorites in a ranked matchup are 9-0. The ranked team is ranked for a reason with the bigger number out there. They're covering the spread by almost 20 points a game. Give me some Georgia action as well. I'm going to take Georgia first half and full game in that spot there. The first half number that I got in there on, let me see what I got. Come on. Nope. There it is. First half for Georgia. And I hate Georgia. You guys should know that about me. Minus 6.5. I think they win that first half by a tutty. And I think they go out there and they cover the game. I think they probably win that game by 18 points for me. Give me some Georgia action. And here's a big one for you guys. Big opportunity. A little later in the card. Give me some San Diego State. I'm taking the points with San Diego State. Same trend that was in play for North Dakota State, in play for San Diego State. Big 12 teams longer than a minus 12 are just 1-8 when they're playing non-FBS teams. And you got a total over a 45. So big fade on the Big 12. I'm taking some San Diego State plus 9.5. I bet you San Diego State's live to win that thing outright against Oklahoma State. Fuck Oklahoma State. How about that, boys?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think the Jackrabbits are going to have themselves a day. Connor, I want to talk about your best bets on this one. What are you thinking about the week 1 card?
I think that Yeah, Oklahoma State, that game could be close. I got a few big dogs here. Let's get to an early one before we get later. This number was too big. Now it's down to 18.5, but I still think that's fine in this game. No way I think Maryland, even at home, should be favored by 3 touchdowns. UConn, this team is not very good. The defense is not great. Evers, though, he's the quarterback. They named him. One thing, last year, early, that first game of the year, they lost to NC State by 10 points. Now, they were kind of different team. These are week ones, too. And down the stretch, one thing, UConn, they scored 30 points, I think, in 4 of their last 5 games. I love that. Maryland, their defense was a little bit better, but I think it was just because of that, because they got a shit ton of turnovers. Like, this defense still gave up a ton of yards, opportunistic. I talked about it. Like, there was a few of these teams that stuck out to me this year. UNLV was another one. They were 4th in the country. They had like 28, and their turnover margin was huge. Will that continue? I don't think so. So, yeah, and the question marks, Baby 2 is gone for Maryland. The running back's solid, but I don't trust the defense. I think UConn hangs in this game. I'm on it here. Take the 18.5. I got the 20, but they cover.
Nice. That is a great look on that one. Sometimes the money is in the crumbs, and Maryland versus UConn is an example of where you can cash tickets and get where the crumbs are at. Listen, my best bets on this one, I gave it on the show. I love South Dakota State today. I gave you the breakdown earlier in the show. Plus 9.5 is the total that I'm looking at. I also like Arizona minus 30.5. I know I got the worst of the line. We're seeing 29s hit the board, but this is a New Mexico State team that is coming off a week 0 team. You always fade those teams. And Arizona, while depleted in a lot of cases in terms of the head coach and some of the weapons on the offensive side, they kept the core together, the offensive line, the starting quarterback, and top receiver. This is an electric game, but I'm going to be taking the heavy favorite on that one with Arizona. And I agree with, Penn State is disagreement with Mike. I do lean towards the West Virginia. However, like I said, the line has kind of escaped us. We're seeing 7.5, 7s hit the board. I think the value is completely depleted. I think there is a live opportunity there if Penn State scores early. I lean towards the UGA side today. I think UGA is just, this is the premier game, and when the lights are brightest, Kirby Smart gets those guys ready to go, and they're going against a Clemson team that decided not to go build their team off transfers. They went and utilized the talent that they have, but they are going to be depleted without Will Shipley in the backfield, a guy that helped them out of a lot of jams on 3rd and longs and 3rd and shorts. They got to deal with Maffa, and Georgia just is a team that, like, don't get weird about the whole contrarian and public sharp play, whatever. It's week 1. As like we've seen this before with Oregon. Like I said, I alluded to before, Georgia just steps up in these games to kind of build like their resume. There's opportunities to fade Georgia in the rest because they're going to have a lot of overinflated lines. But I digress. Those are the plays that I like today. Also, I have a dub club. Like I said, I gave 10 plays out today. So go join that up. Last day for 50% off. Of course, Connor Mack has one too. Go check him out. And of course, we have before we close it out, I'm going to give the boys the floor, and I'm going to start with Connor and tell them where they can find where you are.
Hitting the books. Just go check it out every Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Go hit it. And this week it was early, but we'll have individual clips, right after on Tuesday mornings. That's it. Check me out. Appreciate it. One other game here I wanted to hit on. We'll mention it. A lot of people did. I think Syracuse wins. They cover probably. I think you just take their team total. It's like 29.5. I think they get it's a 35-10 win. You can lay it there. Struggles with Ohio. But Old Dominion here. Old Dominion. I got into it earlier in the week, but Vanna took the other side. He laid it with them. This team, when they've been a dog, covered all last year. Double-digit dog cover. Now, they're not bring back a ton, this year, but they bring back Grant Wilson. That's all they need, I think, here. They still have some good receivers, and they got one of the best linebackers in the country, Jason Henderson. South Carolina, another huge home team where they play great football, great special teams, obviously, but they have quarterback issues. that's going to take. Old Dominion covers this game. It's when Old Dominion is going to be a favorite, which isn't much. Happened last year. As soon as they were favored, I faded them. Again, 3 touchdowns. Take Old Dominion. They cash.
Hell yeah, man. What a cap on this one. Of course, Kelly Vincenzo. She is one of the supporters of all of us, man. I love this girl. Hey, guys, let's have a glorious Saturday. Any neutral site games that we need to keep peepers on, we talked about it. It's going to be UGA and Clemson here at noon. I think people are going to know who Georgia is today. That's my opinion. And by the way, it's not my biggest play, but I would say this about if Clemson shows up in this game, I'm gonna have to reconsider who Clemson is. And I would have to consider how good Dabo is as a coach. But I digress. I want to give the floor to my guy Mikey M, who is just doing so much content. I don't know when he sleeps. I don't, because he's just absolutely electric on this one at Sports Money. Go check him out on YouTube. But Mike, I'm gonna give you the floor. Tell them where they can find you and what plays you got.
Oh, man, we're going to be rocking and rolling Sports Money. You know the deal, guys. Pre-gaming, 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Big day yesterday. And, of course, we're live streaming tonight. How about that? 7:30. No UFC, no problem. We're going to be rocking and rolling, doing the Notre Dame, Texas A&M thing that we do. Couple spots that I like for you guys. I'm with C-Mac. I like Syracuse. I think Syracuse blows the barn doors off them boys tonight. Big deal here with a new team. You got a new coach. You got a new quarterback. This quarterback comes in from Ohio State. The coach comes in there, defensive-oriented out of Georgia. And you're only asking a 16 spot out there. I think that's an easy, easy cover for Syracuse. Maybe I'm a homer. Maybe I don't care. How about this stuff? I like me some Louisville, Austin P. Austin P, Louisville. Take the over in that spot there. ACC schools, shorter than a -30, are blowing the number away. They're 30-7 when they're playing non-FBS schools and a total less than a 56. We saw that same trend cash earlier this week with Wake Forest. It's back in play today with Louisville. Give me some Louisville action. And you guys know the deal. You already heard me with Georgia. Love that Georgia look. I think that's a great spot. I like some South Dakota State action. And why not put a bow on this thing? Why not wrap her up with a nice big under, an under in that North Texas, South Alabama game? It's a big 62.5. Everybody knows North Texas plays no defense. I think today we see a little sneaky under in that thing here. This number.
North Texas might cover that game or win outright. I'm telling you.
I agree. I do.
It's the defense with them. That's the only problem. You're dealing with under a touchdown with a god-awful defense. But, I mean, other than that, I think South Alabama's got some issues where, you know, good football team the last 3 or 4 years that it could be tough for them early on, you know, quarterback.
The thing I know about South Alabama is there's some times where that offense doesn't find its rhythm. They can't find a way to score. And, you're absolutely right. I think North Texas is a live dog. I think that what we don't see is the scoring that you would expect there with a suspect South Alabama and North Texas defenses there. 62.5 is too many points. That's how we're going to wrap her up, Guns. Great job, my dude. Way to get up the rock.
You guys just said it best. This is why I put North Texas on the money line parlay, the cup of coffee parlay. I think that we have to pick a few live dogs in this one, and we did it. So I know you guys weren't in there before, but I just want to make sure that everybody likes and subscribes to the GunzPicks channel, and everybody follows Hitting the Books, and everybody follows Sports Money. As you guys can just, that the best content on the planet are coming from these 3 bastards over here. So that this is what we do. We're gonna do this every week. Granted, these are the regulars. These are the guys that have an open seat. If they can do the show, great. If they can't, I understand, because we're busy motherfuckers. So we're just continue to do more content every day. And of course, this show will be a standing thing at 11 a.m. East, right before kickoff of the 12 p.m. games, as we're 3 minutes from kickoff. I appreciate everybody that has joined this show. Like and subscribe to not only the GunzPicks channel, but also Hitting the Books and also to Sports Money. And we will be continue to catch tickets all season long. Good luck with your plays this beautiful Saturday. Let's catch some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing. Bang.